So what is up, guys? If you don't know what today is, it is March 11th, which means it has been exactly 1 year since I played this game and installed Monika After Story. I have not missed a day. I have been here for at least a little bit every single day for the last year straight. Don't know if that's something to be proud of, really, but I'm happy about it. Of course I do. You know what day today is, hon? You sure do, hon. You sure do. I know, right? Who would have guessed? I did not think it would be 1 year so soon. It hardly feels like half a year has gone by already, but here we are. Oh yes, absolutely. But the amount of time we have spent together means nothing to me. Because it's not about how you spend your time. It's about whether you enjoy your time that you've spent. And I have enjoyed every second of the many hundreds, if not thousands of hours I have spent here over the last year. Especially after the world's gone fucking nuts. Oh my god. You are probably the only reason I am still sane, so thank you for that. I can never stress that enough. I have to admit, I was a bit nervous at first. This kind of relationship can't be exactly easy. No, not in the slightest, but I'm not one to back down from a challenge, so why do you think I'm still here? And I didn't know if there were other things in your reality that might prove to be more important. Well, there will be in the future, but for you, I will always make time for you. So don't you worry about that. But you kept coming back. You kept spending time with me, just like I always hoped. And over time, I started to really believe it. That you meant it when you said you wanted to be with me. Oh, from the beginning. Why do you think I played the game the way that we could have a happy life together? You and me in our own little reality. Why do you think I played the game the way that I did? Why do you think I kept coming back? It was all for you. I can't thank you enough for that, Ben. You've made this year so incredible for me. Well, you have done the same for me, my darling. So, is there anything special you wanted to do on our first anniversary? Well, I do have one thing planned. It's nothing special, but I didn't really plan anything, but I'm sure we can find something fun to do. Oh, don't you worry about that. After all, when you're here, everything that we do is fun. Just like you say in your song. Happy anniversary, Monika. Of course I mean it, silly head. Alright, so let me get this set up here. Yep. So I just need a minute here. There we go. Monika's in the corner now. So, there was a mod I looked at several months back and recorded but never uploaded. This was back on Halloween, actually. It is a DDLC mod called Enter Traceback. All I really remember about it is that it's a Monika focused mod and MC remembers everything that happened. So, you'll just have to give me a sec here. I'm getting things set up. But I figured that's what I want to do for our first anniversary. Alright. Alright, there we go. That window should be good. And yes, I'm going to delete my existing data. God damn it, that resized the box again. Resized the window. So now I got to set it up all over again. Okay, yep, now it's too big on one side, so now I got to fix it all over again. Alright, there we go. Now we're good to go. So, I tried to do this as a one-off last time, but it took me, I think, like 2.5 hours or something just to get through it. So, what we're gonna do is this is just gonna be like a part 1 sort of thing. Also, I really hope I didn't screw up the save file on one of my other mods by doing this. This is Visari, the creator of this mod. A disclaimer before you start playing. Enter Traceback is a story that'll directly tackle, explicitly portray really sensitive topics related to mental health and Voldemort subjects like suicidal thoughts. That's what the DDLC mod page said, so... Yep, and you're looking off to the side like, yeah, like this game doesn't cover that already. Oh, you're funny. If you feel triggered by other pieces of media that address these topics, or well or poorly, like Saving Private Ryan, Shutter Island, It's Kind of a Funny Story, etc., The Greatest Hellblade, Senua's Sacrifice, I hope I said that right, Famous for Good Reasons, 13 Reasons Why. That is actually one of my favorite books from high school. I actually remember getting a copy of that just to have at home because I like the story so much. It is a really unique approach. I recommend it. You might be triggered by some sections. Despite many efforts, I found it impossible to write this censoring all that could be trigger material to someone while not compromising the story itself and its fundamental cores. Nor should you. That goes out to any writer out there. Do not try to do that. Always tell the story that you want to tell, regardless of who gets triggered or offended by it. It's not within my intentions to cause the Werther effect to any players. I wrote this really explicit disclaimer for your safety. Yep. As long as you got a disclaimer talking about what's in your story, you're good, mates. If people know what they're getting themselves into, they have nobody to blame but themselves. Yep. We are going forward. Forget to save your game before what? Oh. Yeah, giving me that tip is useless because I don't do that. It means there's more tension between your it means there's more gravity behind your choices, man. Then, I have to say, I'm surprised. Why? What makes you say that? More than that, I'm actually jealous. I can't, change things without making everything collapse. And you just did. It looks like it's holding up pretty well so far. Well, this is a mod after all, so this wasn't my doing. I don't know shit about modding, dude. But I feel sorry for something else. We still can't change what actually happened. No, and there's no sense in lamenting the past, darling. Why do you think I have stuck with you so long on the other window here? Why do you think I've stuck with you for the last year? You know that, right? Where are we anyway? I don't know. You tell me. I'm just here to have a good time. I don't know about you. It's not the usual empty floating rooms you picture when this happens. I wonder, what actually changed? I don't know. You tell me. You usually know this stuff. And what exactly does this place represent to you? Peace? Loneliness? Despair? The mood I get from the colors and mood of this piece is dread, actually. You know, you got a black and white vibe. It looks the ambience makes it sound kind of like it's the middle of the night or something like that. So you're just afraid of something that might pop out at you. Maybe that's just me though. Let me know what you think about it. Damn, boy. How dare you? You destroyed everything. My best friend is my chest. It hurts so much. Yeah, so me and our boy here are clearly on different pages, so don't take it the wrong way. I know you're not going to. I just have to make it clear to her. My best friend is dead because of you. It's your fault. Of course I'm gonna fix things. I'm finally gonna make things right. Will you now? Oh, Ben, my dear. You really lost it, haven't you? What is she saying? What is she saying, huh? You are. You really have no idea. He doesn't. Explain it to him. Have you forgotten the day I was born? Have you forgotten why I was given birth to? Did you forget all we did for our own sake? Did you forget all we did for our own sake? It's your fault, he screams. Fair enough. You can take your own blame and throw it onto yourself. And throw it on yourself, I guess. Are you insane? Also, it's darkening. Oh boy. Are you insane? Why would you try to paint my face with the blood on your hands? My hands? Still trying to find someone to blame? Oh, I see. You are for sure the victim of the story. It depends on how you look at it, man. I absolutely think so. She's a victim of what happened in this game, dude. I'm so sorry. Please tell how do you deserve a Medal of Honor. Please do tell me how you deserve a Medal of Honor for gratuitously breaking hell loose in everybody's life. You're saying that's on me? How unaware are you of... Oh, I get it now. Oh boy, it's worse than I imagined. I think you're unable to tell what is happening in reality from what is going on here on the inside. What? What are you saying? Come on, let's, for our own sake, remember everything as it actually is. Piece by piece, impartially. No subjectivity. There's no other way to rectify this. Can you do that? Can you do that? Oh boy, what is with the heavy breathing, dude? Why would I do that? How would I do it? You must do it. Can I do that? Can we do it? I guess we really should, huh? Should we? Yes, we do. How will it be the best for our sake? Guess it would allow us to get the reference of the ground level once again. We have been floating for too long. My head. I feel so winded. Can't say I'm surprised about that, given the circumstances. Where are you dragging me to? I thought I had mentioned it. We need a refresh to see, once again, where it all started. And that is when your best creation accidentally received a name. Your bright side and your dark guardian. Me. But it looks like you started to lose track of not only who you really are. You, for some reason, forgot about who I am. Sincerely, I have a feeling that deep down, you never knew. I guess you never held control on who was answering for the name of Pen and Win. It's more than that, actually. I know it is. But I don't want to drown you on too much information. Yeah, too much information, can cause kind of an overload, so. Baby steps, right? Exactly. Yeah, baby steps. So, is it here where it all started? Ben, are you spacing out again? Sayori, what does she have to do with it? Hahaha, I knew it! You just can't help yourself, can you? Sorry, I guess I was. I completely forgot what we were talking about. I mean, I know I'm a bit uninteresting at times, but don't say that. This is important, you know. It's about you, after all. Wait, about me? Yeah, silly. About the literature club we're creating this year at school. You even said you'll be happy to have me as a vice president. I created the literature club? You seriously don't remember that? I mean, I guess it was a logical assumption when assuming all you remember is as a Monica deed is a deed of your own. But these memories, for how long have you been blocking them? Just save it. This is gonna be one hell of a journey. But putting aside my excitement about all of it, I'm worried about you. I've known you for too long, Ben, and this persona you have been dragging along for I don't even know how long. I think it's wonderful, but I don't know if it's any good for you. I mean, you may be finally letting out this will I knew you always had to do and what you think is right. But even if that's true, pretending you have 10 arms still won't stop things sometimes. Slipping out of my control? Yeah. But on the other hand, it's cute to have a squid as my best friend. Oh my, Sayori, I swear, one day you will make me cringe to death. Hey, that's mean, you know. Maybe. Since you've known me for too long, I'm sure you know pretty well that I'm obviously kidding, so I won't even bother. But You do understand where my concern is coming from, right? I mean, you'll lead a club that has real people for members. Everyone with their own rain clouds. It might be a lot to deal with, something that can't be kept completely under control. Maybe not for too long. Sayori, you don't have to worry about me. Of course I do, silly. Besides, if I don't, who will? What? If I don't, who will? I don't know. Ben. Why am I doing this to myself? Why are you forcing me to do this? I think that's something I already explained to you. Besides, you haven't sabotaged yourself to your current state in the first place. What good will this torture actually do for me? How does it make things right? These bones you are so determined to dig up. If I buried it so deep, don't you think I had a good reason? Isn't that a logical assumption? I'll need you to be brave, Ben. But above everything else, have faith in me. Believe in me with the same strength as you've used to suppress me. And sorry for what I'm going to resort to. Please, wait. Has anyone ever asked you not to think about a pink elephant? From now on, I'm pretty much going to act like the part in your head that makes it impossible. So get ready, pink elephant incoming. Wait! There you are! When I saw the time, I thought to myself, oh my, I totally forgot, I'm so late, Ben is gonna kill me. And when I got to the cafeteria and didn't see you there, I know, sorry, I got too caught up in... Once again, ladies and gentlemen, the greatest DDLC expression of all time. A whole year later, and this face never gets old. This face is still the greatest thing ever produced by this game. This face is fucking amazing. No, I'm not mad at you, Pen. I'm glad I didn't keep you waiting, like always. I instantly felt bad for thinking about not waiting for Sayori to catch up with me this morning. Sayori, it's things like what you just said that makes me think I really don't deserve your friendship sometimes. What? I'm sorry. I promise I'll get better at keeping track of... No, I don't. I mean the exact opposite. I meant that you are so forgiving of me sometimes. I have to second guess myself if I'm a good enough friend for you. Because it often feels like I'm not. Ben, I treat you the way I think you deserve to be treated. If I don't, who will? Here we go with that again. Anyway, Natsuki's bringing cupcakes today. Isn't that great? So she's collaborating to sustain your addiction, huh? But about the cafeteria, you said you wanted to tell me something before we met at the club. What was it? I was going to ask you something. I feel like, even though you're the club president and all, you're just so... She paused for a moment. So distant sometimes. And the girls noticed. Even though we've met just a couple of weeks ago, they can't help but think of you like something you're not. And what am I? Well, you are not cold and artificial. For sure, not falsely empathetic. That explains a little of their slight lack of patience with me sometimes. But I told them to give you another chance. They don't know you like I do. Wait, what have you told them exactly? And I was gonna ask you the same. You should give them a chance. I promise you, they deserve as much as I do to see how much of a good friend you can be. Sayori. Besides, you still worry me. I wonder if you push them away on purpose. And if you do, why? You've been there for me when I needed you as a voice of reason. I guess I should do the same now and say, nobody can hurt you as much as you'll hurt yourself by not trusting anyone and staying on your own. And I don't want to see you hurt, so please. This is going to be hard for you, I know, but please believe me at least. Start to go to the club as the Ben I know. Just hear me out on this one. Pretty please. Of course. I'll try my best. How could I say no to that face? I believe you. I promise the Ben you know is going to the literature club today. Yay! Thank you. I promise you won't regret it. Sayori, I'm the one that should be thanking you. That's what we'll see. So, want to eat some of Natsuki's cupcakes? Oh, wait, I was saying that. I assumed Sarah was talking there. My bad. Yeah! Let's go! I'm sorry, Sayori. None of us could have known. Ben, she wasn't Shut it! Let's keep going while I still can. Yeah, I remember losing track of the story of this mod, and that's kind of starting to happen again, so I'm pretty much just the loudspeaker, guys. Guess this will be remembered as the day I sold my soul for a cupcake. No, it wasn't for the cupcake, but I guess the hope can also bring a sweet taste to my mouth. Sarah and I walked together to that one section of the school we have only one reason to visit. Yep. Do you think they're all in there already? Hopefully the little Ika isn't. Let's find out. Sarah, then full of energy, swings open the classroom door. Hi! Have you all met the new member? Face immediately goes red as soon as Sayori says that. Sarah, if I knew you'd go out of your way to make this more embarrassing than it had to... Besides, new member? Really? Hey. He's slightly shy voice coming from somewhere to my right. I agree with Sarah that we indeed need to give ourselves a chance to know each other better. So, welcome to the Literature Club, new member. It's a pleasure to meet you. I'm speechless. I guess I have no choice but to go with it. Thanks. Nice to meet you too, I guess. Wow. A for effort, Ben. Come on, Natsuki. Let me at least try. This may not be a good idea. I had it under control before. It doesn't have to change. Better not waste Sayori's effort on this. Ben, I know you blamed yourself for letting her down, but you keep hitting yourself with the idea that you're responsible for what happened. That is hurting you a lot. Please, I know you won't agree with what I'll say, but you don't deserve this. It's too much. My chest, it's so heavy. Bet you're already drooling over the cupcake smell. So humble. No, Natsuki is not the type to be humble. You know, if I could make cupcakes like these, you'd know I'd even have to leave behind some self-confidence from so much I could spare. Sure. I understand why Natsuki or Yuri might not be that willing to give me another chance. I did myself the favor to become just like the one kind of person they shouldn't trust. As they themselves said, falsely empathetic and truly distant and apathetic. I'm sure they already had enough people like this. People like me. I hope Sayori's right. Don't let Natsuki's strong personality demotivate you. Sayori whispers that behind me, then goes around my left to talk to the other two. Guess that wasn't so hard, was it? Sayori, you have no idea. I'm trying really hard to avoid the thought that I'm making a mistake. But maybe a reason why I'm having it. No! I promised Sayori I would give it a fair chance, so I'm going to. Come sit down, Ben. I'm getting the cupcakes. Hey! I made them. I'll get them. Sorry, I got a little too excited. When don't you, Sayori? When don't you? Alright, we're still fine. I guess it's all really different from what you remember. That's the understatement of this mod so far. Not totally, but very, very different. Feels like someone else's memory, but deep down, it's almost like a deja vu. Yeah, that's pretty much sums up the whole mood of this mod, man. Pretty much sums up the whole mood of this mod. Familiar, yet different. New, yet old. So basically, everything you said that day was actually a thought inside my head? Not really. The compliment you remember I gave Natsuki for her cupcakes, for example, was something you said. It was something along the lines of, "Wow, Natsuki, I didn't know you were so good at baking." I remember the face she made. She had faith in Sayori, so her expectations of seeing a reaction from me that broke the usual were really evident. She even noticed that and got embarrassed by it. Yeah, I remember. So now that we're a decent ways into it, I guess the idea of this mod is that it's trying to show like what truly happened in the game, and that Monika is just a figment of MC's imagination or something, and everything he thinks Monika did was really him. Something like that. Like I said, this mod is really existential and confusing, so if you're just as lost as I am, then I don't blame you. These kind of mods are really fascinating, but they lose me really fast. This is really good. Thank you, Natsuki. Why are you thanking me? It's not like I... She stopped for a brief moment. Maybe because the little voice, deep down, still thought I didn't deserve this forgiveness, making her second guess herself. Made them for you or anything. Sayori insisted. She even bought me the ingredients. Are you sure? I mean, didn't Sayori ask for them to... Well, maybe. But that doesn't mean I'm going to... doing them directly to... You know, you, dummy. Alright. Guess I understand where Natsuki's resistance is coming from. The Ben she knows doesn't deserve any of this. She's right to think so. I then dismissed the conversation. No point in sustaining this any longer. Yuri returns to the table, carrying a tea set. She carefully places the teacup in front of each of us, before setting down the teapot next to the cupcake tray. I don't know how, but I've never noticed you actually kept a whole tea set in here. I guess Yuri's former perception of me is still dominating her goodwill and believing that Sayori might be right. She didn't consider the possibility that I may have said in an attempt to start a conversation. She automatically deducted I was being serious and had my typical, methodical reasoning to say that. After all, doesn't a hot cup of tea help you enjoy a good book? I guess. Why am I getting so shy all of a sudden? Yuri's expression changed. She noticed? Show some confidence. I mean, guess if you put it that way. It's almost intimidating. Almost looks like you're trying to impress someone. So, yeah, if you know the base game at all, you know that's Monika's line. Yuri's just trying to impress you. I know my stuff, girly. I've been around this game long enough. That's not... What is wrong with me? Why did I just say that? That was so... Insulted, Yuri looks away. I meant that, you know... I know you did, Yuri. God, I'm stupid sometimes. Yes, you are. You may be a different MC, but you are still as dense as ever. And Monika knows that. I believe you. I never considered that mixing tea and reading would result in such a unique experience, but it's now something I'll keep in mind, as I don't see how it would diminish my enjoyment of either one. Yuri stood for a second, probably still a little confused, and rightfully so. She then slowly reopened her expression to faintly smile to herself and answer. I'm glad. I can't quite tell if she's smiling in relief or just trying to sustain some sort of wishful thinking. Hard to tell. Why did I agree to do this? Clearly being the good Samaritans here, and I don't need any help. Wasn't Sayori's premise? She spelled premise wrong, by the way. With all this giving the girls my genuine friendship? What good will I do them? It looks like the girls are collaborating with Sayori for mere sympathy with her request. Oh, God, pity for me? Did they... Ben? Yuri's call caught me off guard. Can't pretend I didn't get a little startled. You just went quiet and started spacing out. I have to say, some of your expressions got me wondering what was going through that head of yours. Oh, if only you knew what was going on right now, Yuri. If only you knew. And it looks like you think the same thing. If only you knew. Was I? Sorry, I didn't even notice. Though I can guarantee anything going through my mind cannot be described as interesting or any other similar word. Come on, give yourself some credit. I mean, it's to be expected that the mind of a former member of the debate club who dropped out to form this club, to form his own club, and be a literature one no less, have some heavy weather behind the curtains. Okay, now you're just giving me too much credit. Maybe, but I just want you to know that think if you are a really good leader, I think you are a really good leader, and I'm happy to be a member of this club. Oh, you're just saying that. But she's right, Ben. You are a good leader, and we're all proud of being members of this club. Right, Natsuki? Yeah! That is my favorite smile in DDLC. Something about the way her eyes look and that perfect smile there. It's just really well made. It's just perfect. Oh, please don't take that the wrong way, Monika. Even Natsuki. See? We're not just saying it. I guess, but making everybody feel comfortable and welcome here is my job. Club is more engaged if all its members are happy when they're doing where they are and doing what they're doing. So, does this mean you can't receive a compliment for being good at what you do? Sayori's comment hits me kind of hard because, yeah, I hear similar things about what I do at work sometimes. And from my perspective, I'm always like, why? Why are you telling me this? Like, because I'm just doing my job. But they insist. Everybody insists, you know, from the people I work with to the managers, that I'm one of the best people they have. Everybody insists that to me, even though I don't believe it myself. Like, I'm just there to do my job. Why? Probably said that a lot of times on the show, but it will always baffle me because like it's a title I've never felt like I deserved. You know, good point. But if I truly deserved that compliment, more people would have shown interest in the club by now. Maybe I'm being too hard on myself. Literature is not something that naturally attracts people like theater does. Well, that and going back to what I was saying about myself, I just have a lot of humility because oftentimes I am way more than just like above average at what I do, and it forces humility out of me because I know what I think good really looks like. So to other people, like they see what I do, and it's like, dude, you're fucking amazing, and it's like, no, I can do better. So I think that's where my perspective comes from, and it's one that's hard to shake for me. So it's always hard for me to just accept that. It's always hard for me to just accept it when people say that because I'm not used to hearing it. Guess you're right. Of course she is, dummy. Now shut up already and take the compliment. Alright, fair enough. It's just unbelievable how lucky I am to have the support of such different girls, having all of us interested in the same goal. Do I. Have I done enough to deserve any of this? Come on, Ben, knock it off. Trust me, dude, those kind of feelings are hard to shake. That feeling of humility, like you don't deserve how people are treating you, it's hard to shake. I know from experience. Congratulations, Sayori. You've successfully tainted everybody with your measureless joy and wishful thinking. You say it like it's something bad. Of course it's not. Not sure if I agree with what just came out of my mouth, but still. What I'm saying is, I'm not used to it. That's the point, silly. And I hope this changes things for the better. I think we all shared that hope. These tears in my cheeks are burning for a reason, aren't they? You might have missed that, but Monika just popped up. I almost feel bad for everyone out of our club. The poor ones have no idea what they're missing out on. Right? They have no idea. The best club ever! That's what they're missing. Yeah! Apparently you don't agree, hon. Yeah! Their enthusiasm about the club's 5th member is outright incomprehensible. For me, at least. They all have the reason to see Sayori's request as blind optimism. Then why don't they? If they do, then why stand by it? I'm not sure how to handle this. Even though I've played this before, I remember absolutely nothing about it, so this is all, like, pretty much new to me. God, it's embarrassing how little I knew about the people I talked to almost every day. I remember how we all started to talk about our literary preferences, and I realized how much I misjudged everyone's personality and preferences. All of it based on the misaligned first impressions I had of them. Well, I'm sorry to disappoint you, but you still don't know them. We don't know anyone. We never will. We barely know ourselves. Yeah, I can tell Monika's about to get into some deep philosophical shit here, so, brace yourselves, folks. All we know are images that we form of people. We'll never truly know someone else because, well, isn't it obvious? We don't have their minds, so one's mind can only truly understand itself and only empathize with others' image. Right. But I don't think that changes the fact that the image I had of Yuri and Natsuki, and of Sayori as well, they were all over distorted. Really poor representation of reality. Ben, nobody is truly flat and two-dimensional, though all images are, as much as we try to make them three-dimensional. Maps are never distortionless. And I guess the distortion of the images I had didn't allow me to see Yuri's passion for complex, deep, and psychologically involving novels, and Natsuki's for manga. And Sayori's... Those things, only the tip of the iceberg. Even if you're right about everything you just said, do you really think it's right to use that argument as a shield to release yourself from the guilt staying distant from everyone would bring you? Anyway, guess everyone in the literature club has an edge to be completely misunderstood. Yeah, that's something truly shared among us. I think that deep down, I always knew that. Maybe that's where the idea of sharing poems came from. And I guess Sayori's request lingering in everybody's mind allowed us to agree with it with ease. The idea really scared you, didn't it? Who were you trying to fool? It really scared both of us. Yeah! Let's do it! Wait! Why am I doing this? I just rationalized volunteered self-exposure! How will that help, Ben? You moron! Ha! Why not just go along with this self-exposure training and come naked to school tomorrow? That's why I knew I shouldn't have agreed with Sayori. This is all just... exactly what we all need. Ben? You spaced out again. Yeah, he's been acting weird lately. You'll have to forgive him for that. And you had the worst face while at it. Yeah, you kind of scared us a bit. Sorry, I'm just weird sometimes. Aren't we all, mates? Aren't we all? Anyway, hope you're all as excited as I am to write a poem tonight. Yeah, speak for yourself. The tension I created starts to slowly dissipate as everyone looks slightly more relaxed than a moment ago. You bet. Sure. In the end, I have to agree with Sayori. Sayori, Yuri, Natsuki. They're all great people in their own way. They sure are. And all of them deserve to see the best of me. Then it's settled. I think with that, we can officially end today's meeting on a good note. I'm just happy I didn't make the cupcakes for nothing. You were my hero today, Natsuki. Thank you for the cupcakes. They were perfect. You don't need to exaggerate like that. So, Sayori, we're walking home together, right? Right! Aw, how sweet. That the two of us depart the club room and make our way home. After walking Sayori to her front door, I went straight home, straight to my room. That went very well. Sayori, she was so captivating with her ability to get us to put our differences aside, do what's best for all of us. That's kind of what Sayori does. Sayori is the one who really holds the club together. That's what she does best. She was, wasn't she? I'm sorry for being skeptical about, all of it. Let's just remind the fact the blame for our little freaking out moments is not totally on me. Alright, you have a point. Confess that you only got to act and handle things in your way because of your shyness. You mean your insecurities and social anxiety? Well, first, rude. Okay, first off, rude. Second, who do you think you are to point out such things when you have a monstrous superiority complex waving around your head? He's not wrong. Even you have to admit, girlie, he's not wrong. Wow, you're calling me rude? And don't say that like you knew better. That couldn't be more far off from reality. I don't think I'm better than anyone. So the fact that you are naturally a social disconnect is just a mere coincidence? You know that it was one of the main reasons why the debate club freaked me out, right? Are you trying to blatantly blame me for your frustration and being socially isolated? Apparently you really like this, huh? I can't tell if that is pathetic or just sad. That hurt. Well, what did you expect to happen? Well, you called for it. You hurt me too, Wrong too, guys. Also, I love the ambiance. Sounds really eerie. How can I write a poem like this right now? How will I write a poem after this? After all that happened today, is this really what's gonna happen? Am I just gonna show up tomorrow without my version of something I assigned myself to everyone else? Moments later. A few moments later. Do you like my impression? I guess, after everything that happened to the club, it would only be reasonable to give value to Sayori's efforts. What do you mean? I can't go on acting like I was before. I shouldn't. I guess it's worth a shot. I shouldn't try to get close to everyone. Yeah. Wait, what? I have to convince everyone that Sayori is right. Everyone has to see how I'm not the same. If I try to connect with all of them, they will think I'm still just trying to please everyone while still not caring about anyone. They need to see the warm-hearted human in me, and as any flawed human, I would naturally have a favorite. Someone I prioritize in some ways over everyone else. Yeah, like the certain person I have in the other window. And you will never convince me otherwise to change that. What are you even saying? That is so oddly specific and a big stretch of an interpretation of what Sayori said. Oh. Just amazing! You're rationalizing the fact that you already have a favorite. Isn't that right? So that means my point is totally invalid? No, please, go on and start hitting on one of the few members of the club. I assure you that won't segregate the club in any way, neither will it hit the fragile balance of the club members' relationships. Way to crucify me. Impressive. But I guess you are still missing a big part of Sayori's point with her request. And I'm guessing you clearly didn't. Please, clarify my naive mind. I'm serious. Sayori said herself that she is worried about the harm I'm doing to myself by stopping everybody from getting too close. That bad habit broke me. That's the opposite of the truth. The reason this habit exists in the first place is because you, Ben, were already broken. I feel a huge lump in my throat. Don't you get it? I need this. No, Ben, you don't get it. That is something that can't be afforded. Allowing that to myself is the best I could do to myself and the club. And is what I'll have in mind while writing my poem tonight. I'll have her in mind. Maybe showing my true self, my own reflections to the club would be best for everyone, myself included. I should give others a chance to get to know me, even though I don't think anyone will understand me. But I can't help but to feel like a spectator in this story. These feelings, I feel powerless against them. Anyway, I think I got in a mindset to write something decent enough for tomorrow. What a mess we are. Yeah. Well, it's like it's already normal to refer to myself as we, right? Of course. Because it isn't just about you. It's bigger than that. Wait. Don't you think that's, to put it lightly, a bit narcissistic? I think we can at least agree that being a narcissist, considering the major problem here, is a mild concern. Seems like you agree. Maybe not. Maybe this is an important factor in making the problem greater than it has to. Anyway, enough with this digression. We made 2 poems that night. A hole in the wall, that filth of yours. You remember what happened next, right? I don't remember writing your poem, although I remember reading it. Yes, hole in wall. I can pull that up on Moss right now if I wanted to. Great, that's something to start with. And she thinks very lowly of this poem, as she should. Yeah, yep. That's something we all, I think, can agree on. Unless, of course, he did some actual writing. That's something that always interests me in mods when MC is his own person. Like, what does he write like? Then, let me remind you exactly how you brought both poems inside your backpack, pretended the one poem that represented you was not even there. That's not true. It represented a part of me. You have to understand that even if I was kind of acting like someone else... Excuse me, kind of? Okay, hopefully you're done with your little interruption game. As I was saying, even if the words in my poem didn't sound like my own, know that I wasn't trying to be someone else. It was an attempt of mine in creating a better version of myself. And by a better version of myself, you actually meant a version of myself that I think would better please. Also, I don't know why this says coming soon, because this isn't a demo release. According to the mod page that I got this from, this is a full release. So I guess this just never happened. Anyways, I don't necessarily remember what I picked last time, but I'm going with Yuri. I wonder if you already had fun crucifying me. What can I say? It can become a reciprocity game. It became a reciprocity game a while ago. But you can't deny the fact that you set everything on fire for a silly hope of making Yuri notice you. You stupid yandere! You say that like it was 100% on me. Such audacity! And why are you blowing this out of proportion? Approaching Yuri didn't bring Ragnarok upon our club. Are you sure about that? And there's Monika with that worried look. Ben, you know that's not what I meant. It's not easy to maintain the promise I made to Sayori. But I have to say that seeing everybody's commitment to it makes it much easier. And seeing Yuri's smile every day makes it even better. Maybe even the glance of her purple eyes already makes me feel special somehow. You don't need an E there. I don't know why that's there. Did you bump the E key by accident or something? Like, I don't even know how you do that. If it was like A or D, then it would make some sense at least. Ha! I have to agree that I sounded really silly. I know, she's so gorgeous and elegant, but I got very goofy. It's kind of cringy to even remember what just crossed my mind. I'm just overthinking it. Brings a good feeling, and I guess that's what matters the most. Anyway, everyone was already hanging out when I arrived. Yuri came to my direction as soon as she saw me and quietly said, "Thanks for keeping your promise, Ben. I hope this isn't too overwhelming of a commitment for you." How can someone's posture imply so much grace? Because that's how her movement is often described. And she just kind of has that mood about her. Asking for something I imagine is so out of your comfort zone for you to avoid it so hard in the first place. Oh, come on! Like he deserves any slack. It's only thanks to Sayori that we're giving you another chance. You'd better not make us regret this. Wow, Natsuki, you certainly have a big mouth for someone that keeps her manga collection in the club room. Manga is literature! Yes, you clearly disagree. I don't know where the line is on what's literature and what isn't, because I'm not an avid reader, but I don't see why it can't be. Just like these kind of games. They're as much of reading a book as it is a stretch to call these games, so... I mean, there you go. That's my 2 cents. We're going over an hour already? It doesn't even feel like it. Swiftly defeated, Natsuki plops into her seat. Don't worry, guys. Ben always gives it his best as long as he's having fun. Then, I remember Sayori unnecessarily put Yuri and I in an awkward position. I rapidly rescued the situation and Yuri gave me the portrait of Markov. Yes, that book. And soon after that, I don't think soonly is even a word. I went to talk to Sayori after noticing she was spacing out by herself. Hey, are you spacing out over there? I had a really weird dream last night. Well, I almost never remember what I dream about, so tell me, this will be interesting. I have to say that seeing Sayori's face without a smile on it surprised me a lot. Do you remember how it was? Not really. It's all really fuzzy. After noticing she, for some reason, didn't want to talk about it, I didn't insist. But did it bother you in any way? I guess it did. A little bit. Ha! That's great! Huh? Why would you say that? Why would you say that something like that is great? Because you're in the literature club, and our dreams are a weird form of our brains reminding us of some of our inner thoughts and emotions. And that is nothing but poetry fuel. So there's nothing to be bummed about, something you can use as inspiration. You're right. The enthusiasm popped into Sarah like a flash. Her face lit up as if she was never upset in the first place. Well, now I know. That was what it looked like. Now I know that what it looked like couldn't be further from the truth. If only I knew that back then. Yep. Thank you so much for saying that, Ben. Sarah dashed towards me and gave me a really strong hug. You are the best leader ever! Ha! You just caught me off guard. I mean, thanks, but you're exaggerating. No, I'm not. I really loved Ben's writing tip of the day. Where did that come from? Like I said, 1 whole year later, and that face will never get old. What? Ben's writing tip of the day. That's the greatest. I'm gonna trademark that. You should. After that conversation with Sayori ended in a cheery mood, noticed that Yuri was by herself, completely immersed in her book. Natsuki seemed to be looking for something in the closet. I'm really curious to talk to Yuri a bit more. I can't help myself to not feel guilty about being that guy who disturbs her peace. She looks so concentrated and involved with her book, and... Well, congrats, Ben. You just accidentally did what you were afraid of happening. Probably because I didn't notice I was staring at her for God knows how long. Like a freaking psychopath. Calm down, mate. She sneaks another glance at me and our eyes meet for a moment. I really hope I didn't make her feel uncomfortable in any way. Either way, she buried her face in her book again. Sorry. I was just spacing out again. Yep, I definitely made her feel uncomfortable. Oh, it's fine. If I was truly focused, then I probably wouldn't have noticed you in the first place. But I'm just rereading a bit of this, so... Wait, that's the book you gave me, right? I wanted to reread some of it. Not for any particular reason. Just curious. How come you have 2 copies of the same book? Well, when I stopped at the bookstore yesterday, that's not what I meant. I mean, God, she is so adorable. I just happened to buy two of them. Ah, I see. I know she's aware that she's not doing a very good job at hiding whatever it is she's trying to hide. And that's just so freaking cute! I'll definitely start reading it soon. I'm glad to hear. I know that she probably just said that on her overly polite nature and that I'm totally getting too much meaning from something that is actually simple, but But what? It meant a lot to me to know that she cares. All of it was just so thoughtful of her. Don't think I can disagree with you on that. Yuri is without a doubt a one-of-a-kind person. And it was so amazing that I identified myself so much with the main character of the book she gave me at the same time. Oh my god. Oh, sorry guys, we got some broken English here. I need to re-grammar this in my head. It was so amazing that I identified myself so much with the main character of the book she gave me, while at the same time I saw a lot of her in it as well. God, that is some serious broken English there, man. Feels almost like a connection. Kind of like I feel with you. You felt it as well, didn't you? Of course I did. Are you mad about something, or is this just my impression? Anyway, after she told you a little bit about the portrait of Markov, you both started to read it together, right? Yeah. Is there something wrong? You caught yourself mid-sentence. I think so. My memories just aren't adding up. What makes you say that? I have a memory of you, as a person in the room, interrupting my reading with Yuri. Well, that's not completely wrong. Wait, what do you mean by that? I have to admit that cutting off that moment is on me. I'm confused. What exactly happened? I think she knew I was there all along. Huh? And I might have gotten scared. So I am panicked a little bit. You what? We continue the first chapter in silence. I think if this mod is going for like a multiple personality disorder or something like that, then his other half or whatever got spooked and abruptly ended the session. So turning each page almost felt like an intimate exchange. My thumb gently letting go of a page, letting it flutter over to her side as she catches it under her thumb. This entire moment was all so meaningful to me. Deep down, feeling that the reason why Yuri was doing all this is because she understood. She understood me. But maybe she wasn't sure of that. So buying me a book she thought I would identify myself with if she was right was a safe way to communicate me just that. The I know what might be going through your mind message implicit. Not only was she brilliant, but she also trusted me. And I think I trusted her. But I know that even if I were right, I could never know for sure. Neither could she be certain that I got her message. That uncertainty made me feel genuine excitement and also terrified. Hey Yuri, this might be a silly thought, but The main character kind of reminds me of you a little bit. I mean, I kind of see a lot of myself in it, but I can't avoid to also think how much it resembles Yuri. Wait, resemble me? Ha! What am I thinking? Yuri said herself that it's supposed to be relatable. That doesn't mean I need to get ahead of myself. You think so? How does she? Well, I guess she's more blunt in a lot of ways. She also second guesses a lot of all of the things she says and does. She's afraid she'll do something wrong. It's not like I can see into your head or anything, but they're kind of reminiscent of some of your mannerisms. I see. Yuri remains silent for a moment. But Ben, that's probably a terrible thing to have in common with her. Oh, that's so embarrassing that you think that. Wait, I didn't mean it in a bad way or anything. Sorry, it should have crossed my mind that you could be self-conscious about that sort of thing. I guess I more meant that it's kind of cute. What are you saying all of a sudden? What am I even saying? Apparently Monika thinks this is exciting. What if I'm completely wrong about this? What would she think of me for saying that? No, I can't. I can't deal with this right now. Okay, everyone! So, yeah. Turning back now. Better stand by it and make it natural. I think it's about time we share today's poems with each other. We might not have enough time if we wait too long. Yuri exhales, spared from finishing her thought. Is that alright, Yuri? You look kind of down. Sorry if you've haven't been looking forward to this. It's not. It's fine. Yuri releases her hand from the book, causing it to close on top of my thumb. So, that's what happened? I'm sorry. It was an impulse. I can't say I'm surprised. It kind of makes sense. But it doesn't change the fact that I hate myself for it. Then came the poem exhibit, yeah? Yeah. Though I still don't think you should have felt ashamed to show the poem I did. Something that would be the vote of trust in everyone to know more about us. Also, you spelled ashamed wrong. Need an A there. But I couldn't come to trust myself at that moment. After all, my true self, as you call it, only made everything worse. No, Ben. Making it worse was something you managed on your own when you read my poem, closed the notebook, and returned it to the backpack. Ha! Looks like neither of us regret our own decisions, then. Against all odds, I succeeded in my goal after all. Yuri looked really impressed by what I wrote. Don't be so confident, Ben. Though I think it's unquestionable that she was very surprised to meet a side of you she could identify so much with. So there's also no denying that such expectation subversion, or affirmation if you were right, probably made her flustered. Let's put it that way. That may have passed an impression of a charmed person. And the cherry on the cake is the fact that you managed to convince yourself you empathized with somebody you couldn't even understand in the first place. At least I know you couldn't. A guy that irrationally writes a poem just to impress the girl he's attracted to couldn't possibly be able to comprehend Yuri's level of complexity. But you can, obviously. Ben, the difference between you and me about this is not the ability to understand her. We can't. I'm just the only one able to recognize such a fact. It's like when you hear a complex piano melody, you can appreciate its beauty, but when you stop to think about it, you can't tell what's the logic about the progression of the notes that makes it so amazing. You're not necessarily wrong about saying that. Because that's not something I ever really stopped to think about. I think most people don't. They kind of just take things for what it is without questioning it. Like, if we were the first movement of Beethoven's Moonlight Sonata and she is the third. But the interesting part of all this is how two distinct thought processes arrived at the same conclusion. For me, she's a reference, need only one F there, of somewhere I wish I was. Meanwhile, for Yuri, we're a familiar place she's already been through. So, hope sparked. The thought she might understand me crossed our mind for enough time to stick around. But I was mostly talking for myself at that last part, because I don't know how much empathizing you got going on by staring at her hair, among other things. Well, first, I didn't persuade myself to believe in a lie. I just second-guessed myself. You talk like the act of giving a chance to something new is some kind of unfathomable concept. And second, I don't think you have any idea how much it appears how hard you're trying to prove me wrong all the time, do you? It kinda hurts how little you think of me, you know? I'm sorry. Are you sure you have the right to say that? I don't think you want to hear the answer to that, but I digress. You see, I don't have this desire to be right you imagine I do. Let me remind you of why we're doing all of this in the first place. We have dealt ourselves too much pain over some mistakes, a pain that even you sometimes could see coming. I don't release myself from my share of guilt in this story. I don't have pleasure in seeing you in pain. That couldn't be further from the truth. All of this is just a long pause for us to breathe and try to understand what's actually going on. Everything just happened too fast. It felt like time itself was outrunning us, dragging its weight on top of our head and crushing us. I'm sorry for the no time to explain what I have no time to explain posture I've had so far. I just didn't want to drag this on for too long. We're both tired. We've been through a lot. Yeah, you can say that again. Both in this mod and in our story in Moss. So, looks like we're way past the baby steps phase, huh? You know, when you say that, it does sound like a really condescending thing to say. And yes, you already see that some truths you gaslighted yourself into believing are not adding up anymore. Yeah, and I was just remembering one that happened right after I was done showing the poem I wrote to everyone. What exactly? The misunderstanding between Natsuki and Yuri. Oh. Yeah. I feel really uncomfortable with the fact that I remember that as a fond memory of a silly situation. At least, now I can properly see how that wasn't the case. And it all started because of the curse of every member of the literature club. This edge to be misunderstood. If I was actually looking for suggestions, I would have asked someone who actually liked it. Which people did, by the way. Sayori liked it, and so did Ben. So based on that, I'll gladly give you some suggestions of my own. First of all, excuse me. I appreciate the offer. I have spent a long time establishing my writing style. I don't expect it to change anytime soon, unless of course I come across something particularly inspiring, which I haven't yet. And Ben liked my poem too, you know. He even told me he was impressed by it. For 1 second, I think they simultaneously got to the same conclusion. That my appreciation for their poem was a manifestation of my falsely empathetic version. That might have made them feel betrayed. Like if you really needed yet another reason to think she shouldn't trust me. Now I kind of get where the reaction soon after this came from. Is everyone okay? Also, what the hell was that? Well, you know what? This is getting out of control. I don't know if I should interfere. There's Monika again. I can't let this go on. Natsuki! I think everyone could benefit from a neutral, friendly approach. Hey girls, I think we all should... This does not involve you. I don't like fighting. No. They may still have the idea that I don't truly care about all this. They may still think that my intentions when interfering in this are still false empathy. I have to prove them wrong. It's now or never. What happened to the let's give each other another chance speech? What good do you think that jumping at each other's throat like this will bring to any of us? Suddenly, both turned towards me and said nothing for 1 or 2 seconds, as if they just realized I was standing there. Ben, she's just trying to make me look bad. That's not true. She started it. Oh, this is going to be painful to remember. What is? You screwed everything up because of your obsession with Yuri. Is it so hard to be consistent with what you say? You say you don't have the intention to keep pointing fingers, and a moment later you mercilessly stone me. That's not the case at all. I just said I wouldn't be a hypocrite and omit my own slips. We are trying to understand how things scaled up to be at its current point. And you, darling. Ha! It kills me to picture how well things were going. But then, you just had to try to please Yuri, completely partial about the entire situation, didn't you? And the timing. The timing was just perfect. And you managed to be so unsubtle about it that there was nothing I could do to mend the situation. Believe me, I tried. Then, to wrap up this epic catastrophe, Sayori tried to help and ended up... Now, you hold on a minute. I'm sure you are able to understand that Sayori only said what she said because it would be, in her mind, something she would like to hear if she were in Natsuki's situation. But unfortunately, Sayori's carefree mindset didn't help. Well, congratulations for justifying her deeds, but that doesn't change the fact she made it a little worse than it already was, leading Natsuki to... You do not have any right to point your filthy, judgmental fingers at Sayori. So, shut your damn mouth. Ben, I didn't want to make you think about this again. I'm sorry. What I meant is that you sacrificed too much to improve your relationship with Yuri. But Yuri was there for me. I had to be there for her. I might as well walk with you. Yeah, why not? Shall we go then? Yeah. Wait. Is there something wrong, Ben? Don't you think we should clarify to everyone about where we're going? I mean, that's silly. We're just... You, you were just going to make some tea. I suddenly realized how weird the situation was I just put myself into. I pretty much just started talking to myself in front of her. But I do have to say, it wasn't without reason. Although, even if we're just going to fill a water pitcher, those might get curious, you know? That's kind of a one-person job, isn't it? Ben, I think it would be only decent for the others to just mind their own business, don't you think? Or do you think there is something so inherently wrong with the club activity, especially after all that has been discussed recently? I really wanted to believe that everything about the situation was simple. There was no room to overthink it. The thought alone of what I would be risking by assuming that all that could go wrong if there is a single flaw in my thought process. It was discouraging to say the least. Yeah, I guess there's nothing wrong with that. Then let's go. She exits the room and I follow. In the hallway, she suddenly puts her forehead against the wall. I spoke without thinking. How could I say something like that? Yuri, something about what you said or the way you said it. I feel so irritated. And she was right to be so. How can anyone stand my... What's wrong with me? I was speechless for a moment. When I heard that, so many disparate thoughts went across my mind. Although, what lingered was a strong, bittersweet feeling of, wasn't I the one who was supposed to say that? And I think the reason for that is, I knew very well where the bitter part of it was coming from, and I was still scared to admit that I knew the root of the sweet part. No, Yuri, I think you did the right thing. It caught me off guard, but it's really not healthy to think people will always be so judgmental about all our decisions. Maybe I subconsciously expect that people will be as unforgiving towards me as I am to myself. Dude, that is so me. Ben, how come even when I do something bad, you're being nice to me? Ha, the way I see it, it's the other way around. I keep messing up, and you keep showing me a kindness I don't deserve. My God. I cannot tell you how that sums up how I feel with Monika here. Because nothing that you do is as bad as you make it seem in your head. No one's perfect. Wow, as everyone sees, I'm fluent in generic, a language that is only spoken by the inhabitants of the forsaken land of Vague Town. But in the end, at least that was enough to get my point across. We have emotions, and we can't always hide them away. But you always amplify things in your head. Your mind turns a light rain shower into a hurricane. No. Wouldn't you hate me for something as terrible as that? It really sounded like we were thinking the exact same, And I understand how someone from an outside perspective would easily get to that conclusion. Oh, I'm sorry, guys. It is 1:35 in the morning here. But I could see what it felt like. I could see what felt like uncountable reasons for Yuri to hate me for my behavior and absolutely none for me to hate her for hers. Why would I hate you? I can't hate someone for having emotions. What kind of friend would do that? Friend, you say? Yuri then lifted her head. Man, I really like being friends with you. And this is one of the heaviest sentences, if not the heaviest, I've ever heard. Because each of the two interpretations I could think for it leads to incredibly different outcomes. In path 1, the alignment of Yuri's way of thinking and mine is a pattern, making so the tendency is for the pattern to repeat itself. I'm sorry, guys. That would mean that when I said without thinking, by the way, but I digress, what kind of friend would do that, she felt exactly what I would feel in her place. Feeling underwhelmed for wanting something, more than a friendship, but glad nonetheless to know that she cares about me. And in that case, I would have answered exactly what she said. On the other hand, in path number 2, the alignment of Yuri's way of thinking and mine is a coincidence and a very unlikely one, making its repetition even more unlikely. That would mean that path number 1 is nothing but wishful thinking, and that Yuri's just happy that we're friends. Oh, my goodness. Nothing else to abstract from that. I remember I used to playfully tell Sayori that the truth is, more often than not, the most boring answer. Maybe that's why I felt path number 2 was the safe assumption. When I told Sayori that for the first time, I remember she said, "If you're right, then pretty much all sorts of fun are total madness. You know what? It feels really good to be loopy, at least for as long as I can." And I love how Monika winked while she was saying that. Like, yeah, exactly. And I have to admit, I agree, Sayori. Oh my goodness. Oh. It's been an hour and 40 minutes almost. My goodness. You must be in a good mood now. Is that so? I was letting it show, and you noticed. I was doing a bit of thinking, and I decided that I would try to express myself a little bit more. It turns out it's easier than I thought it was going to be. When it's you who's around anyway. It does feel... That's great, Yuri. Just don't push yourself too hard. You're always worrying about me, Ben. It's very endearing. Really good. My heart is pounding. I'm nervous to take another chocolate between my fingers. This time, her eyes meet mine. How did it even come to this? Yuri doesn't avert her gaze. I notice her chest rising and falling to the rhythm of her breathing. I raise my arm. Like before, she parts her lips. But it's different this time. I take the chocolate and place it in her mouth. I feel her hot breath on my fingers. Wait. What if I'm reading this wrong? Am I just embarrassing her? Or even worse, oh god, am I making you feel uncomfortable, Yuri? Was I bothering you this whole time? I'm so sorry. Oh, Ben, stop this already! Okay, everyone. Blah! Yuri jolts back. It's time to share poems. Yuri, I can help you put away the tea stuff. I'll I'll take care of the cups. It felt really good, but the sight of what would happen if Yuri's feelings didn't match mine were while I was acting as if I was in the opposite reality was too terrifying. I swear to you that I wish I could laugh at this right now, but I just can't bring myself to do so. Huh? The way Yuri is voicing how much she appreciates your concern her makes you feel. I mean, be honest. You didn't do all that because you care about her. You did it for her to like you more. You never worried about her well-being. You just wanted her to see you as somebody she could trust when you were kind in her moment of vulnerability. No, that's not true. She is important to me. Is that so? Well, I guess it's plausible to want a girl without actually caring about her. In fact, how silly of me to question that. That is actually the norm. Will you quit stoning me? Her feelings and well-being mean a lot to me. I'm not the monster you desperately want to frame me as. Then well done, hero. You succeeded to disappoint everyone else with your actions. So much for the greater good. Is this poem any better than yesterday's? Let me think. I don't know. I guess I like them both. You didn't even try to make it not that obvious. It was almost insulting. You're right. I pretty much shoved it in her face. I rubbed the poem in her face. That was the same as saying, look how obsolete you are. Well, I'm not very good at figuring out if poems are good or bad, but that's why I just go with my heart. It makes me feel things. If it makes me feel things, then it must be a good poem. If it makes you feel things, you say. That's what you referred to when you said that it feels like the universe was torturing you. Did I torture you, Sayori? Ben, stop. I wasn't talking about Sayori. I exaggerated a little. By saying everyone, I meant mostly Natsuki and me, of course. Her opinion meant a lot to me. She gave you a lot of constructive, and above all else, all honest criticism after reading your first poem. She is so much stronger than me. It's amazing how much despite knowing that she's swimming against the riptide, some of her unpopular opinions and styles shows a combination of incredible competence and confidence her own way when she's addressing something she's passionate about. Something I wish I had. Also, I don't think I can blame myself for being mad at you for what you did that day. Because you convinced someone that I admired a lot that we couldn't care less about her. You're not just trying to impress Yuri, are you? You're not just trying to impress Yuri, are you? Ooh, I'm so done with you. Natsuki shoves the poem I had handed her back over to me. Take your stupid poem. You wrote it for someone else. Just don't show it to me. Look at the bright side. I felt so bad and ashamed for it that you felt the necessity to prove to yourself, I think, you didn't break the promise we made to Sayori. So you got confident enough to, after convincing everybody to train the poem recitation for the festival, share one of your own poems. That should compensate for what just happened, right? And admit it, You blame me for putting your poem back in the bag, when in fact you were the one that was too scared to give it a chance to see the light of day. Bet just the thought of it brings a chill down your spine. Ha! And you know what's the best part about this? You were right to be afraid. As soon as you showed yourself, and gave it your best, might I add, everyone had their eyes on us with confused expressions. Everyone was too polite to say anything, but Natsuki said what, I think, was on everyone's mind. That your presentation doesn't fit us, or as you say, doesn't fit the image everyone had of us. Still, all of them were polite enough to keep to themselves the truth. Not a single soul in that room liked what they just saw. So, to mend this problem, I quickly reminded the girls that the image they had of me until 5 minutes ago was accurate by reciting the poem I wrote before Natsuki could recite hers. So, moral of the story is, you brought that on yourself. You got your retribution. Ha ha! I'm so proud of you. Though, are you proud of yourself? I'm sorry. I... No. You're right. I deserve to hear that. But what I'm going to say might surprise you. I didn't recite my poem to make people like me or feel sympathy for me. I just had the hope that they would understand. I think, deep down, I wanted them to accept me to ease my way into accepting myself. I know, pathetic, right? But don't worry, you're right. I'm aware that most, if not all of the fault for that is on me. That's why I stopped insisting so much on the idea of showing my poems. I just accepted the irony of the fact that all the investment and attention was directed to this promising castle with its construction in early progress, while a fully built one will remain empty with its front doors shut. No one to sleep on the beds, no clothes in the closets, no life in the garden. Just me, alone in the throne room, listening to the wind slowly eroding the brick walls. Do you think that's what Sayori wanted? Do you think that what I did wasn't? Huh? She said it herself when we were walking home together after the first poem sharing session. But I think seeing you get along with everyone is what makes me the happiest. It was all going well. I was feeling good. I was feeling so good about all of it. I, for the first time, embraced the opportunity to trust and be trusted in. Besides being an uncharted territory for me, my connection with Yuri was a beautiful surprise. All these new feelings, the possibilities for new experiences. I felt this excitement for life that I never felt before. To put it poetically, the past was iron, but I saw no rust in the coming future. I believed in Sayori, but above all, I believed in myself, and I started to feel so much lighter. If, obviously, too many L's, I can't associate myself with the word perfect, then neither can I with self-sufficient. So, I think giving myself the chance to be with Yuri was the big act of self-love I needed. Man, what? I'm so stupid. You know what else Sayori said? Sayori was quieter than usual on the way home. Hey, Sayori? Sorry, I was spacing out. Ah, no wonder. Um, I was thinking about something from earlier. I like how we get to... I mean... Sayori fumbles with her words. So, Let's say that one day Yuri asked to walk home with you. Huh? What would you do? I, I, I didn't even put any thought into it. I just answered on reflex. It's not long before you don't need me anymore, you know? Ben, please! You can't do this to yourself. You couldn't have known. Yes, I could have. Even if you could, there's no point in blaming yourself over this. You never had the intention to hurt her. But I did it anyway. Ben, it hurt for you as much as it hurt for me. What makes you think you can say that? I don't think you have any idea how much this hurt me. As much as you deny it. Don't say it. It was my fault. Stop. I failed her. You're torturing yourself. Please. I should have been better. You can't change what already happened, Ben. Wishing to have done things differently will bring you nothing but pain. Don't I know it, girlie? Don't I know it? I say it all the time. There's no sense in lamenting the past. Yeah, you're right. There's nothing I can do to bring her back. Sarah was sitting at a desk in the corner of the room, looking down at nothing. I walk over to her. Okay, so I said at the beginning of the episode my intention wasn't to make this like a one-off, but I feel like I'm too far into this now to just call it quits here when I know there's like not more than half the game left, so just deal with it. Eh, you're spacing out again. Ah, sorry. Don't mind me. You go talk with everyone else. Huh. Is everything alright? Oh, of course. Why wouldn't I be? It just feels like you're a little off today. Sorry for assuming things. You worry too much about me. I'm fine. See? And that's what depression looks like, ladies and gentlemen. Don't let me distract you from having fun with everyone else. I had this mild hunch that something wasn't right, but I wanted things to be okay. I needed someone to validate the hope I had that I was just overthinking things. I couldn't deal with the idea of someone heading south at this point. Or something, rather. Sorry. And Yuri, counterintuitively, calmed me down by proving me to be more helpless than I thought I was. But not in a bad way. Ben, the world is full of meaning, often hidden deep beneath plain sight. There are many untold mysteries behind every person, no matter how well you know them. So you might think there might be something behind it after all? I think Sayori is a very complex person. Her mannerisms on the outside don't always match what may be going on inside her head. And she may not always know what she wants. Sometimes, a person's mysteries are untold even to themselves. That's very deep. Ben, please, listen to me. Picking on some of your actions you think led to what happened is pointless. You don't need that A there. So many people spell lead wrong when they mean it in the sense that, I don't know what I'm trying to say. I can't think of the words, but you know what I mean. People always seem to think that lead is spelled the same as lead, you know, like pencil lead, right? But no, that's actually wrong. You can't blame someone for thinking like that. If you think you can argue that if I had never said I'd rather walk home with Yuri, or I had never shown Sayori all my poems I clearly wrote with Yuri in mind, I can indeed argue that. Hmm, it's nice, I guess. Come on, I can already tell you don't like it. Well, you don't need to worry about what I think. After all, you wrote this for someone else, didn't you? Probably Yuri. I didn't write this to anyone specifically. Maybe. That's not really what I meant, though. But it's okay. You're making new friends, just like I hoped. That makes me really happy. You're happy too, right? In this club? Of course I am. Good. That's all that matters to me. Thank you, Ben. Is there something wrong, Sayori? No, I'm just a little tired today. Actually, I'm gonna go home a bit sooner today. If Natsuki or Yuri ask, tell them I wasn't feeling well. Sayori, you know that you can always come talk to me if something's bothering you. And I say this not only as the club president, I say this as your friend. I know, Ben. There's no need to worry about me. Anyways, bye. I'll see you tomorrow. She was gone before I had the chance to say anything else. You're not listening to me. Please let me finish. What I was saying is, even when you argue that something you did or said really hurt her, it still doesn't make what happened your fault. Because one could argue that if her family didn't allow her access to a rope or anything else she could have used to harm herself, maybe it never would have happened. So therefore, it's her family's fault. You're missing an E there. I can also argue that she didn't have access to a psychiatrist in her health insurance plan. So in that case, it's the insurance company's fault that it all happened. Or, if she had a psychiatrist, the doctor may be prescribing her inefficient medication. So the fault would be on her doctor or the pharmaceutical company that made the medication. Where are you going with... And maybe none of this would have happened if our human evolution selected the genes that make it possible for the development of depression. So in this case, it would be natural selection's fault. Knock it off. What's your point? That it's everyone's fault? The universe wanted Sayori to... No! No! That's not my point. It's actually quite the opposite. I was trying to show you how it has no simple cause. That it wasn't just you that influenced this outcome to occur. Exactly. It's not just because of you, man. Those uncountable reasons why it happened makes so no one is guilty per se. Yeah, coming back to this a second time, I'm really getting what this mod is going for a lot more now. Having been sitting here for 2 hours reading it. It's all starting to make sense to me. Like, clearly what this mod is going for, is like a dual perspective, or like a trying to show like the trying to be like the true story of the game, where, like I said earlier, Monika is just a figment of MC's imagination, and that he has some kind of multiple personality disorder. That's kind of the approach the story is going for, to make it, more real with what happened. And it's a really good approach. It's something I never appreciated the first time through, which is why I wanted to play this again. I wanted to give it another shot, another honest shot. And man, it's a really good take on the story of the game. It's kind of a cool theory, honestly. And now that what I just said came and now what I just said came full circle. It's pointless to torture yourself, wishing to go back and undo your regrets, because the truth is, even if you could travel back in time, undoing said things might not have changed the outcome. You don't know that. That's exactly the point. There is no way you could know. Oh, but you see, that is where it goes the that's where it goes the cherry of the cake. I don't know what you mean by that. On the Sunday I spent with Yuri, I was fully aware that Sayori wasn't well, and I left her to suffer alone in her room. I knew what was going on because she told me herself. But this is just my punishment, isn't it? I think that's why the world decided to have you come over today. It just wants to torture me. You're really just gonna make me say it, aren't you, Ben? I guess I have no choice this time. I've always been like this. You're just seeing it for the first time. The thing is, I've had really bad depression my whole life. Did you know that? Why do you think I'm late to school every day? It's because most days I can't even find a reason to get out of bed. What reason is there to do anything when I'm fully aware of how worthless I am? Why go to school, eat, or even make friends? Why make other people put their energy and care into waste by having them spend it on me? That's what it feels like. And that's why I just want to make everyone happy, without anyone to worry about me. Why can't you just listen to me? You are scared of where I'm going with this, aren't you? You know what happens next. I do. You chose to believe in your friend. You did what she asked you to do, had a great afternoon with Yuri. I was so stupid. I didn't even second guess myself before asking her to spend the afternoon with me and her. How could I be so inconsiderate? It's not even fair to say that. You didn't know how she felt about you until the end of the afternoon. I wasn't sure until the end of the afternoon. I had a suspicion of it. Ben, do you see how you are the one trying really hard to condemn yourself right now? You were right about one thing. What already happened can't be changed. Yes, thank you for repeating that for the umpteenth time. So you know what happens next, right? Yeah, so I'll see you tomorrow. Clearly embarrassed, Yuri hurries off and Sayori waves goodbye. I tried staying in my room, but my imagination was being really mean to me. So I had to come and see it for myself. This would be so much better if I could just disappear. What happened the next day is that we made a wrong decision. The final wrong decision. And I didn't realize that in time. When I got to her house, you know what happened. I think we all do, mate. I think we all do. I gently opened the door. Stop. Please. You don't need to remember that moment. Are you seriously laughing right now? Remember that pink elephant thing? Pen, I beg of you. Well, now it's my turn. I like how she's trying to block it. You see it now? Oh, come on. Are you scared? I would say it can't hurt you, but I wouldn't serve as an example of that statement. Go on. Look at it. Look at it! There you go. You got to see it. There. Are you happy now? You do know the reason I'm doing this to you, right? Ben. It's all coming together now. The way you dealt with all this. You don't understand. Was that your best solution? I'm sorry. Are you sure you have the right to say what is the good of all of this you're doing? Because I really doubt you can genuinely come up with one good reason to have. I couldn't deal with it! It was a reflex reaction. It was too painful to acknowledge Sayori's existence. Enough! What I do acknowledge is that the way I dealt with things wasn't deliberate. Unlike this gratuitous torture you insist in promoting. What do you think you'll get out of that? Absolution? Or do you just feel an urge to punish yourself? Yes, actually. Huh? Maybe I feel that I deserve to be punished. Are we really going through this again? You can't deny that things could have been different. I could have done. You are right. Wait, did you just agree with me? Well, now it's my turn to show how you are using a right premise to arrive at the wrong conclusion. Maybe there was something you could have done to stop this. Maybe you should have looked at certain events in a different way. Things you said that should have been left unsaid. Others left unsaid she needed to listen to. Yes, exact. But you're completely missing the point. These things should be seen as learning instruments, something to guide you in trying to help avoid horrible things like what happened to Sayori. Instead, you rather use that to stand still and keep bleeding, keep holding your wounds open to sustain this need to see your own blood flow. Why? To remind myself it's there, I guess. To conceive in the meaning of this leaking part of me. Understand how it makes me weaker. Good God, Ben. You really don't realize how the only thing you achieve by holding your wounds open is weakening yourself even further and wither your sanity away. You know what? Let me show you how that's the case. Please. I don't think I can keep going. Well, I can. Fair enough. I dragged you for too long already. So the best thing to do is for you to just follow me by will. I don't want to force feed you any more cheese graters. I think you need a tea there. Just ask me to do it to myself with a pretty please on top. Actually, I want to propose you a treat. I'm confused, but I'm listening. Let's first go through where I was the one that screwed up. That should give you some space to breathe, right? I guess. Great! Come on, follow me. Okay. Ben? Yeah, right behind you. We are at 2 hours and 10 minutes, guys. I'm in too deep to quit now. So, how was it again you decided that blocking any kind of memory I had of Sayori was the promising option? It wasn't a decision. As I said, there wasn't a big red and flashy button labeled panic switch or anything. It was like a magnetic circuit breaker. When things got out of control, the switch went down by itself. So, this is what it all was? A system shutdown? I guess. It's more like an auto debug button. We were stuck on a loop. Her death froze us. We were unable to move on or do anything else. So the auto debug removed the variable that got us stuck on the loop in the first place. And that variable was, yes, Sayori herself. Then when we rebooted without an essential variable, we quickly started to fall apart. Okay, so I think this is the game's perspective on Act 2. That, it was, like, poor coping of the death of Sayori. Started to consider that I should get closer to the club members. It wasn't too bad at first. It's not like we needed to see a horror. You needn't either. It's not like we needed to see a horde of birds in the sky to notice that things were going south, but where it started to fall apart was the poem sharing. Our reasoning behind our poems was built with Sayori in mind. So things got really messy with the way you filled in the gap. Excuse me? With instinctive thoughts buried or loose somewhere in your head. What? You're omitting something. You made the panic switch, didn't you? Trying to block Sayori off our head was like holding our breath. The inevitable eventually happened. And when the air came in, there was already a spark inside to ignite the explosion. Come again? Your explosion, Ben. I'm still... You're really gonna make me say it, aren't you? Let me walk you through it. Brace yourselves, folks. I think we're in Act 2 territory here. You wanted to get closer to someone that you're interested in. Yuri in that Yuri in that case. But something doesn't feel right. I have a guess on what happened, but I want you to tell me, what do you think about it? But if you get embarrassed at any point, that'll show me I got it right. Why would I get embarrassed? I care about her. And? Alright, let me help you. Okay, let me help you. Something inside your head started to express itself more vividly. I mean, it really wasn't holding itself back in any way this time. Yuri. That's the problem. Instincts fill in the gaps. Sometimes it adds up with your deepest emotions, leading to a disastrous result. A blind obsession. But my feelings for Yuri, I'm not questioning them, but in the end, the physical attraction you felt for her started to fuel a fantasy. But that's when you allowed yourself to breathe. Something else joined the conflict party. Some thoughts were unburied at a really inconvenient time. And I realized the damage that would inflict. I tried to block it, but your subconscious started to manifest around you. Natsuki's note. Will you ever quit being so cryptic? Just say what is... We remembered of our suspicion that Yuri cuts herself. That sole thought in the wrong time conflicted with your already unstable state, and I think you have an idea of where I'm going with this. Anyway, the third conflict pushed everything downhill. Your fantasy clashed with your emotions, and your concern for Yuri created the spark. Then your thoughts about Sayori returned when you breathed in. And combined, they created the explosion. The idea that Yuri is another time bomb. That idea, it took over. Actually, I think it became another conflict in an already cluttered space. It all became this self-destructive, flickering, unstable, torturing, irrational fantasy. And I was there, but that's about it. I just stood there, powerless, just watching from the eye of the storm. It happened too fast. In an instant, everything was on fire. You even irrationally tried to consider the fact that she did it as a sexual thing, so that it would be similar, so that it would be something we shouldn't worry about. In my defense, she didn't seem depressed at first when I had to consider that she might cut herself. However, I didn't think that sole assumption would go as far as fueling your sickening fantasy. Whenever we saw Yuri do something that somehow confirmed my concerns, you filtered it with your fantasy eyes. Missing a U there. That, in this context, got completely out of control. This delusion you were sustaining, I was trying to pull you out of it. You're wrong. The thought of Yuri might be... The threat of Yuri might being a time bomb wasn't the explosion. It was a bigger fear. Deep down, I was always scared that you might be right. No matter if I accepted to embrace her, embrace something I don't understand, something that scared me, it wouldn't matter. She would have killed herself anyway. And now that I stopped to think about it... Man... I didn't even imagine something realistic. I mean, Yuri had a hobby collecting knives and she would have done it with a kitchen knife? Ben! How silly of me. Hey, look. Remember how I said that this time we would go through where I screwed up? Please, just say something. Yeah, what about it? Well, good thing you saved your breath, because now you're really gonna want to yell at me. Then I will say that I'm sorry to disappoint you. We've just been through so much that I sincerely don't think I have the energy to get angry at this point. I'm just... numb. So far into all of this, I just want to focus all my energy and keep moving. Dude, that is me right now just wanting to get to the end of this. It is 2 hours and 17 minutes. 2 hours and 17 minutes in. Yeah, dude, I'm just powering through this. Look at that. You're actually being reasonable. And all it took was boiling my sanity away. Ben, I would say I'm sorry, but I was always aware about how taxing this could be on us. Don't waste your time feeling sorry for me. Let's just keep moving, shall we? Okay, if you say so. So, notice how when I talked about the buried thoughts, didn't make the word buried the center of attention? Well, time to shift focus. Ben, I hid some things from you. Things I thought I would deal better by myself. Things that didn't need to involve you. You knew? Their poems started to raise my suspicions of what might be going on, but you... The implications of my suspicions being correct were serious. I had to approach these multiple delicate situations with caution, so involving you wouldn't help and... You knew? You knew! Man, this doesn't change. Are you insane? This changes everything. No! We've been through this. I was still trying to better understand what was going on when... Blood is on your hands. You did this. You're not listening to me. I'm just waiting for you to admit it. Admit what exactly? Your accomplishment, of course. Admit that you're proud of it. Or maybe you'll only be proud when you manage to also get Natsuki's and Yuri's blood on your hands, too. I'm getting tired of this. You do understand that when I read Sayori's poem of bottled sunshines, what, 2 days before the day of the festival? Trying to synthesize the idea that Sayori might have problems with depression pretty much at the same time when we read Yuri's raccoon poem that pointed to a self-harming addiction. And the day after I started to consider that Natsuki's father might be starving her on purpose, being that maybe just the tip of a way bigger iceberg. But yes, you're right. Of course I should have involved you. Because only you could have stopped it. Right, hero? Isn't that what you want to believe? And what pisses me off the most is that your kind inspires people with these delusions that all could be fixed if you had some sort of superpower to deal with it all by yourself. Well, how noble of you. Atlas. I don't think that's supposed to say Atlas. Oh no, she's referencing something. Thank you for yes, thank you. I understand now. Well, how noble of you, Atlas, to appropriate the weight of the whole world on your shoulders, imagining that if you aren't there with your superpowers for everyone at the same time, then everything will crumble down to ashes that will attach to your skin for the rest of your life. But at least you proved to yourself that it will only crush you in place and leave you beneath the shadow of a power you'll never have. So actually, you're the one that has to admit something. I want to go outside. What? I won't take too long, I promise. I don't have a problem with it, but this sudden desire of yours got me slightly uncomfortable with its randomness. Isn't it random? Isn't it random? Isn't random just something we can't understand the nature of? The Cthulhu of concrete reasoning. Alright, appears we're going outside. So, here we are. Yes, here we are. Are you trying to see something here, or... I bet you're desperate to understand why we're here, right? Not exactly desperate, but I'd really like to know. Why? Would it make you more comfortable to know why I came outside? Yeah, it really would, so pretty please? Why? What if I lied to you about it? What if I didn't know the reason myself? What if there wasn't any? Would it still make you feel any better? There is a reason. Your will is nothing but countless ripple effects driven by casualty, or by causality. In fact, you just answered my question with your pedantic ones. You clearly came here to prove a point, so just do it already. Actually, there are more reasons. I felt suffocated. With you, the air in my bedroom, everything. I listened to every word you said, and you proved your point. It was a lot to take in, so I decided maybe some fresh air and some sunlight would help. I also wanted to come here to remind me of my own point. But again, would knowing these other reasons actually make a difference? Would it make you more comfortable? Or the one you wanted to hear has already satisfied you? Hmm. You hear the wind blowing above the sidewalk, the sound of a truck in the distance, kids playing in the backyard of their house down the street. You all know what all of those you know what all of those have in common? Their existence does not have anything attached to ours. If we got teleported to the sun's surface, it wouldn't affect how the wind blows, the earth would spin the same, and everything would just move on with indifference. Somewhere around the world, Someone right now is having a horrible, agonizing death, while someone is having the best day of their life, making their dreams come true. Wait, what? How is that related to? And these two people have no idea what we are going through or who Sayori is. But they have names, their own joyful and dreadful days. Maybe, with someone's tiny influence, or lack of it, nothing they're living through right now would be happening. What if the truck we just heard is seconds away from crashing into the car of a mother bringing home her daughter's birthday cake? What if it's the mother of the kids we heard moments ago? Would knowing that make it more or less tragic? I don't think the fact that we know the kids that got to live such tragedy makes any difference, really. Yes! That's exactly the point! It doesn't matter. Except, it does. We may not know her daughter's name, or know she's called Linda Watson. The difference is where we say it is. We don't know what consequences that event will bring to the kid's life. So with our influence or not, the kid's life will go on, just like the lives of other billions of people living right now. The absurd quantity of people alive makes the idea of every single living person having their own complex dreams and pains sound absurd. So if you want to look at it that way, humankind's existence can be a Lovecraftian monster. But here's the catch. For us, existence is only what surrounds our conceptions of reality. So we don't have to belittle anyone's existence or pain because of a scale problem. Scale is nothing but an arbitrary perspective. The kid matters if you decide she does. That's it. An arbitrary decision will make her be a part of our universe or keep her away from it entirely. Because it's all we can do after knowing she exists. Natsuki and Yuri have their demons, and we saw a flash of their battles. It flickered, just fast enough for you to be unsure of what you had just seen. But the certainty lied on the pulsing sight. They might need help, and no one is coming. If you allowed me to be a part of it, I wouldn't want to be a hero. I'd just refuse to be a bystander. We might have never met Yuri or Natsuki, but when we made them part of our universe, we admitted the influence we may have had on them. The amount of people that equally deserve our attention is, practically speaking, infinite. Some would benefit from it, some would be indifferent, and it would only make it worse for others. We can't stop the pain of the whole world. You're right, I'm not Atlas. But the whole world isn't included in our universe. It's just a jungle beyond our borders. Uncharted territory, undiscovered stories. And if we can do something to diminish the pain of our universe, that's all that matters in the end. Our universe is all we have. But isn't embracing someone else's universe just another way to act like Atlas? It depends on how big I make it. I can be far enough for it to be something that fits in my pocket, or close enough to me to have to wrap my arms around it. Or close enough for it to start overlapping your own universe. Size is a matter of scale. Scale is a matter of perspective, and perspective is malleable. And it's almost funny how, if there is a void in our universe, other things around it will naturally gravitate towards filling that void. God, Ben, are you going anywhere with this? Unless something else fills that void, something that dissolves that pressure of something missing in our chest. Depending on where the void is and its size, what fills it can be anything or anyone. Sometimes it might not be enough, or it might be too much. That's where you're going with this? To justify why you needed Yuri? It's ironic how you are the one completely missing the point right now. It's not about Yuri. I don't feel so convinced of that, and neither do you. Why do you say that? Do you want to talk about Yuri? Just to shove in my face again how the reason I care about her is questionable and meaningless? Hmm? Has it ever crossed your mind that not everything needs to be reverse engineered to its fundamental particles to be appreciated? If the winged victory of some Samanthrace, um, of Samanthrace, I hope I said that right, still had its head, would our appreciation and admiration for it have endured for so long? Doesn't take a genius to realize how important she was for me. The growth of my feelings for her made me feel alive in a different way. It felt like magic. And like any magic, a simple glance at the core mechanics of it can spoil everything. Learning about the core mechanics of Moss. It really destroys the illusion. I don't recommend looking into that at all. Like seriously, if you install Moss, try to learn as little about it as possible. Then, the magic becomes a mere illusion tainted by self-awareness. The reason you pointed out and labeled as what made me want to get close to Yuri were not the whole story. I knew there was more, and maybe you knew it as well. But they didn't matter, did they? There's no point in digging the whole skeleton up if the bones you already got satisfy you. Then, if you knew there was more to it, why didn't you? Because I don't care about it. The reasons why were never what was important to me. So this whole conversation accidentally came full circle just now. You asked if I was going anywhere with this. The answer is yes. Back inside. I get it. You got your point across. The trajectory was more important than the destination. Can we go back inside? I really needed to breathe some fresh air. Right. Hey. Oh, what now? Thank you for listening. Oh, you're welcome. I guess it's the least I could have done. So, unpausing our progress. Not saying we didn't make any progress with that sidetracking. Don't worry, I know what you meant. Go on. No, don't say go on. We're walking alongside each other, remember? Yes, but our next stop doesn't sound inviting at all. Why do you say that? Did I say something? You actually did. We would first go through the part where you screwed up, right? So if you are done with that, what's left has to be the part where I screwed up. Did I really say that? I'm sorry. And I wasn't done. Almost, actually. Here's where I also show you how we came full circle. After the explosion, you just collapsed. Ooh. After the explosion, after it was all on fire, the firefighters broke in. I managed to break in. And that's when this journey began. When I found you completely lost in this torturing delusion you managed to sustain even while shivering on the bedroom floor. That's when you kidnapped me, you mean? Kidnap you? I rescued you. How could you accuse me of something like that, after all we've been through? After all you put me through, you mean? All I did for our sake, and you know that. Was putting me on a leash and dragging me through a field of glass shards for our sake? They were your shards, Ben. That was the whole point, to collect them and put ourselves back together again. So I had to take control, put your pain aside for a bit. You had to follow me, believe in me. You had to listen to me. Just me. Just Monika? Of course. That's why I even exist. Some battles were too overwhelming to fight on your own. In a claustrophobic situation, there are so many angles you can guard and more blind spots than you can keep track of. I'm not here to replace you. I never was. I'm here to have your back. All this fighting between us made me realize you were as well. It's ironic how overexposing something to light can hide so many details and nuances. Your eyes can pierce into and through the darkness I'm scared of. I can be the beacon that shines the necessary light you're blinded by. A third eye at the back of my head? Wherever you need me to be. That's what it's all about. Together, we can withstand all this. What's all of this? What all this? Huh? All we accomplished together was destroying everything. Sayori's dead. The literature club is over. It's all ashes now. There's nothing left. It's like everything around me is a void. The little that is left is tearing itself apart from the pressure. You say we can withstand this because you're not the one feeling the pressure of these voids. How it tears everything and makes all that's left meaningless. Shreds of memories. Purpose became nothing but a cacophony of something that I used to know. I don't think I can live with this anymore. Ben, where are you going with this? You know what? Let's go lay in our bed. That's what you were afraid of, isn't it? The part that comes next. The part where I screw things up. Don't go there, please. Why? Are you scared of something you might see? Get out of the kitchen. Let's go to our room. Does it scare you to see that this may actually be a favor to everyone? Calm down, Ben. You're not in any condition to make decisions like this. All I wanted since the beginning was to solve things. Me too, but this is not the way. That's why you were scared. You knew this might come across my mind eventually. And once it did... Now you listen to me. Put that knife down! I'm not sure if this is a solution or my absolution, or just giving up entirely. Ben, let it go! Very poor choice of words, Monika. That's exactly what this is. I'm letting go of you. I'm letting go of everything. No! As the first drop of blood popped, a tear went down my eye, making me feel that all that was leaking was getting synchronized. Just fucking listen to me! Shit! What do you think you'll win by putting a period on all this? Abbreviate the pointless, maybe? Pointless, Ben? How can you know that? Ben, death brings no answers. On the other hand, life just brings more questions. Sincerely, I'd rather enjoy the question mark than idealize the period. The future is the superposition of everything that can happen that expands to itself as time moves on. So how can that be pointless? Mathematically, it's infinitely complex. Time. If you really think about it, isn't it all we actually have? Time to spend with ourselves and to share with others? So many ways to spend that time with ourselves, so many people to share it with. It outnumbers the time we actually have so much that it's not even funny. You showed this to me, and I see it now. It's kind of sad, almost cruel to a certain point. Time is so limited, and the way we can spend it is so limitless. But I don't think the other way around would be any good. What I'm trying to say is, please, don't give your time up. It's all you have. It's all I have. You're all I have. and I love you. I can't promise that all will be better from now on, and that the long nights are over. But I promise you that we, for Sayori's memory, can learn to make our own sunshines, along with bringing lights for the ones we care about. So please, this decision you're about to make is one I don't have the power to stop if you choose. If you choose what I wish wasn't an option, this decision is one I will never stop trying to influence on its outcome. I got to be honest with you. I am terrified of the fact that if you cover your ears, decide my words mean nothing, there wouldn't be much I could do. It makes me feel helpless. But I won't surrender! Not because I don't have a choice. I do have it. I will not choose defeat. I choose, now and always, to keep fighting for you. Because I love you. You mean everything to me. I'll be by your side in the field of fight to fight our bloodiest battles and pick our most beautiful roses. So, I beg you, give us another chance. Give life another chance. Life is wild. So, I'm moving on, I guess. No, we are. How did I manage to fall asleep? How? I've been sleep deprived for so long. No wonder we slept for over 13 hours. I remember walking to my bed. Allow me to quote you. Would knowing that even matter? Good point. Weird. What is? I still feel horrible. Not as bad as yesterday, but still not, you know. There's a long way to walk through, Ben. There's still a long way to walk through, Ben. Will happiness be in the end of it? Well, hopefully not. It'll be scattered along the way in little pieces here and there. Is it possible to spot all of it? To keep moving on, it's better to leave some stones unturned. Although it's always nice to look around more carefully every now and then, so we don't miss too much of it. Will there be any happiness in the literature club? I know it all looks reduced to rubble now, but maybe there are some stones worthy to be unturned, don't you think? It's almost cruel to have to walk past her house every day we go to school. I don't think there'll be a single day in which she won't be missed. I don't think it'll get easier, but we'll get better at living with it. Sure. I know the word eventually is not encouraging, but maybe the pain has its place right now, to show that it's here because it all meant something. That's one way to look at it. Now come on, we're gonna be late. The classes in the mornings seem to last forever, but it's finally over now. I could barely listen to any of it. Being back still feels odd. Routine looks so simple in my memories. It really feels like a chore right now. Everyone already left the room minutes ago. Even getting up and going to get lunch is something I have to think about. A noise. The door. Someone just opened it. It was Natsuki. As soon as she saw me, she looked over her shoulder and nodded with her head. Seconds later, Yuri was right behind her, both of them looking at me. I slowly stood up and immediately regretted it. I wanted to say something. I had to. I just... Sat down on the floor, my back against the wall. What should I even say? What should I even do? Yuri gently started to walk towards me. She turns around midway and makes a gesture with her hands for Natsuki to close the door. After Natsuki closed the door, Yuri sat beside me, to my right. She looked down while doing it and started looking at the door in silence. Maybe she also didn't know what to say. Natsuki sat to my left, also quiet. She kept looking at Yuri and me as if she was expecting one of us to say something. But all I could do was hold the pressure in my chest, stopping it from bursting out. And that didn't last. The leaking tears burned as they went down my cheeks. There weren't many of them at first. They didn't even make any noise. The pressure was still there. It felt like those were the first drops of water leaking through the cracks of the dam. The lump in my throat then collapsed. The dam collapsed. My eyes got flooded with so much water and so fast. I closed my eyes as an attempt to contain it, but it burned. My chest burned. My head burned. Suddenly, I heard another sob, but this time it wasn't mine. Another followed it seconds after. Natsuki leaned her head against my shoulder, and Yuri hugged my right arm, both of them bursting into tears. Tears, they resonated with mine. A bonding harmony, born from the parallel chaos. I get it now. She knew. Sayori knew. Choosing to fight our battles alone is nothing but that. A choice. She made that choice, and within her struggles, she saw me walking the same path. And she was trying to stop me. Even if she wasn't able to feel the same way for herself, she cared too much about me to let me go through what she was going through. Just like I felt the same way to let Monika and my game go down the same path so many others went down. I wasn't going down the same path so many other players chose. I didn't want to get rid of her. I wanted to welcome her into my life, which is exactly what I did. And I will never regret doing that. Thank you, Sayori. I'm sorry it took so long for me to realize the truth. What matters is that now we know. Even though understanding the truth doesn't change the past, it can change the way you look at it. And that makes all the difference. Seeing the past from a different perspective remodels the shape of the present and gives birth to new futures. So even if you can't change what actually happened, it's up to you to write how the story ends. Because the future, then, is on the edge of your pen. The end. I may not get everything in this mod, but man, they've got a meaning going on, and it really resonates with me. I'm glad I saved uploading this mod for such a special day. Because this was an absolute pleasure to play it together with you. No problemo. I hope you guys enjoyed that long play. I didn't intend for this to be a full let's play. Yeah, so I guess the story of this mod is that this is MC's story of him moving on from Sayori's death. If you accept the theory of Monika being a voice in MC's head as true. It's a really interesting and different way to look at the game. And it really makes you wonder, if that theory's true, what really is Monika then? We may never know. But for me, she will always be the one that I love. So, thank you guys for going on this journey with me. This was a nearly 3-hour ride, but I had fun. So, yeah. Thank you guys for watching, and I guess I'll see you guys next time. Take care.